biggest moments.
One man to beat up the right sideline.
See ya, baby.
99-yard touchdown run.
The biggest games.
Back-to-back state championships.
The biggest stories from area high school sports. This is Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly. Alongside the Dean of Area High School Sports, Dennis Semro, here's Hunter Vaughn.
No Giannis trade conversation happening on this show here on PrepMania Weekly. I'm Hunter Vaughn. Of course, I'm here with the one, the only, the Hall of Famer, the Dean of Area High School Sports, Dennis Semro, as this is Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly. And Zimbrick Honda has been a part of the Madison community since 1973. Their customer service is second to none, and you can experience it for yourself at two convenient Madison service locations, one on Fish Hatchery Road and the other on Grand Canyon Drive. From simple maintenance to expert repairs, Honda certified technicians handle it all. Need new tires at Zimbrick Honda? Buy 3 tires and get the 4th for how much, Dennis?
$1.
That's right, just $1. Shop local, shop Zimbrick Honda. Last week on our show, Dennis and I talked about the sectionals and where things were kind of lining up for some of these teams as we get into the back half of the season. And now tonight, we wanted to take a look at some of the conference standings and see where teams sit when it comes to those, because while everybody does make the postseason, it is something that those conference titles, they still matter to these teams, right, Dennis?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So we're going to start with the Badger Large Conference here this evening as the for the boys' side of things. Right now, Beaver Dam has a 1-game lead on Waunakee for first at 6-1 in the conference. Then you've got Waunakee at 5-2. A couple of teams at 5-3 in third place with Oregon and DeForest, followed by Middleton at 4-4, and then MG is 3-4, Watertown at 2-5, and then rounding out those teams in the Badger Large Conference is Baraboo, who is 0-8 in conference play. Now, Dennis, we've seen Waunakee here before. You and Riley saw them just a couple of weeks ago. Do you feel like Waunakee can make that jump here on Beaver Dam? I know they will match up again here literally tomorrow night. So there's a chance there that's a big game in the Badger Large between Beaver Dam and Waunakee.
Yeah, I think they match up pretty well. Beaver Dam's got some great shooters. Got to see them at the Wisconsin Basketball Yearbook against some really good competition. And remember talking to Coach Landrum afterwards, going, I like your team. Guys know what their roles are. They hustle, they dive for loose balls, and they can nail the three. So they've got all the pieces. Waunakee had to rebuild again, losing all 5 starters from last year. But they had some clutch shots when they won that double overtime game at Monona Grove. So, yeah, this one the gym should be packed for, because this is for the conference championship.
Mm-hmm. Now, the thing that's going to be hurting Beaver Dam, I had gotten a message earlier this week from Wade Bates up at our Beaver Dam station, and he covers the Golden Beavers over on Daily Dodge, where you can watch this show as well along with the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. But he told me that the number 2 scorer on the team for Beaver Dam, Parker Blank, he's going to be out for the year.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he had a foot injury, so he's done for the season. He was averaging 16.6 points per game. He's not the leading scorer for the team, but losing that senior presence for that team, it's going to make things a lot more difficult for the Golden Beavers going forward.
Yeah, that's your X factor. Blank had an outstanding football season, and then basketball, very physical player, again, from the football experience, but 16-6 a game, and you go, Salatl is their leading scorer, 21. Then after that, you've got, Whitnell? But I like the coach's kid, Jackson Landron. He is at 7 points a game. I could see him picking up some more points in there, because he was very unselfish, but a guy that I thought could look for a shot. And, of course, he turned the ball over in front of his dad, gave him the look, the father's son.
Yeah.
It came down and made a play. So, I mean, that's I'm sure some interesting dynamics there. But, this is now they're going to have to take a look at the bench, because you had 4 in double figures, and then Jackson had 7, then after that. So they basically had 5 guys that have been handling most of the scoring. Now you take out number 2. That's a factor. But again, and these teams battle each other on the football field as well. So you get that physicality from that. So I'd have to say Waunakee, if they stay healthy, they might have that little bit of an edge. That's the first I'd heard about Parker being out.
And, it is one of those things for Beaver Dam. Like I said, it is important to try and win those conference titles. That's still a big deal. But with everybody getting into the postseason, it's almost one of those where they might have this struggle here as they kind of finish up their season, which could help them get some better matchups then, maybe, when it comes to their sectional then. So you might get into a spot where, being in that 1 seed, but depending on how things maybe line up for them, it could still help them out because that's not necessarily the easiest sectional in the world that they play in. So this could end up in the long run once they kind of figure out how to play without Parker. That could be a benefit to them. But, I mean, we're not going to know until March for that. But that is the nice thing. We've seen that happen with some teams where they lose somebody in the middle of the year. They struggle. They fall in their seeding. But then they get maybe an easier regional matchup just because of the way that they match up. But their record wasn't as good. And then suddenly they make a deep run, and we're talking about them on sectional weekend.
Yeah. Well, Waunakee also is trying to rebound. They got beat by DeForest by 25 points, 76-51. That was a stunner. That was their second loss in conference. And DeForest, what are they at 9-8, 5-3, 5-3. And then they beat Middleton, and then they beat Baraboo, who's the bottom feeder. But Middleton is pretty well. So DeForest kind of trending up, for our power rankings we're talking about later. But that's a team kind of keep an eye on.
Absolutely. As we move into then the Big 8 conference, and this one has been just tight all season long, as we've got 3 teams at the top of the conference standings, all at 9-1 on the year for the Big 8 on the boys' side, with Middleton, Verona, and Madison Memorial all at 9-1, and they have all beaten each other here as well. So Memorial lost earlier in the year to Verona. Verona lost in overtime to Middleton, and then Middleton lost to Memorial. So that's how we have all 3 of them at 9-1. They're all going to play each other again here. So this is where things are going to get really interesting. There's going to be a late season at the very end of the year. Memorial, the last game of the season, goes to Middleton. So there's a chance that could be a conference championship game to finish off the season. But coming up on Tuesday, Verona and Memorial play. You and I will be there at Memorial for that game.
Well, Memorial, one of the twins was out. Ezra was out, I believe, with an injury. But you look at their record, 15-1. The Verona loss is the only one on the schedule.
Yep.
And they've gone through, and we talk about Coach Collins is going to retire as a teacher. You're not sure, he hasn't made anything official, but you got a feeling this is one of the best teams he's had over the last decade. Really liked it coming into the season, and when the Twins decided, we're going to play baseball, but we're not going to give up basketball season.
Yep.
There's sigh of relief through the school district, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Because they mean so much to the program. And then you got La Follette still hanging in there. Middleton, that loss, that was a tough one, but they bounced back to beat Sun Prairie West after that. Again, Middleton, not a lot of size after they've had it there. Carter Parks is they're big, but they've got just great guard play.
Yep.
And that's what we were talking about with with the Beaver Dam, and that was the other one. You got to have guards when it comes to tournament time. It was Dickie V used to say on the ESPN. You got guard play because they control so much, but you got to have some size inside. And Waunakee, one of the strengths also, when going back to the Badger, Waunakee rebounds. They're always very physical.
Yep.
They bring that physicality. It's like the guys show up, even in CYO, they show up looking like they just stepped out of the weight room, cut off the shirts and stuff. But in the Big 8, three-way tie. And then La Follette and Craig and West, I think Sun Prairie West has picked up a couple wins down the stretch here. So you got to bring your A game, because even top to bottom, even Parker and Sun Prairie East at the bottom, they're gonna push you.
Yeah, they absolutely will. And the thing you mentioned, that size, I just keep thinking about, for any of these teams that are Division I teams, they're going to have to deal with the size of Wisconsin Lutheran if they have their eyes set on a gold ball. And we know that these top 3 teams in the Big 8 all feel like they are capable of making a run to the Kohl Center. You're going to run into the Knipple boys and everything that Wisconsin Lutheran brings with 6'7" Xavier Zen. I believe Kingston Knipple's listed at 6'10" now for them. So you have to have guys that can play that size. But like you said, we've seen it time and time again. I mean, Heck, since we're talking about the Big Eight, you think about Madison Memorial, their two big runs, the two guys that come to my mind right away, and it might be because I'm a Marquette fan, but it's two guards, Wesley Matthews, Vanderblue.
Right.
Those two guys were huge in those runs for getting gold balls for Memorial, and it's just it's a cliche at this point to say it, but the reason it's a cliche is because it happens over and over and over again. If you have a good guard, you're going to be able to make a deep run, and I just look at this Memorial team having Jojo Rodriguez at guard for them, having Anthony Miller as well playing for them.
There's your sniper.
Yes, like those two on top of Caleb and Ezra Ligon, your two bigs, you've got a complete team with those four, and all four of them are seniors. They've been playing together a long time. I really like this Memorial team. They're going to get pushed by Verona. I mean, we saw it. Verona beat them in Verona, so a chance for some payback winning at home. But it's going to be a really great game on Tuesday, and I hope it isn't what decides the conference title, because I'd rather have that be that last game of the year, because there's just a little bit more on the line then. But this is going to be a huge factor in who wins the Big Eight.
My big question?
Yeah.
What night is it going to be for the students? They always come. They always bring their A game, and I love it. Steve goes over and goes and does some high fives and talks to the students. He gets them pumped up.
Yep.
Because they know they are that X factor when you go into their gym, and I can't wait. It's even with headsets on to try to hear each other talk. It's just fever pitch, and that should be a great one. So hopefully the 45-degree wind chill factors are gone, and we don't have to worry about moving that game.
Yeah, I think the temperature should go back up. The weather should be fine for that one, so we should be good there. But yeah, I'm so excited for this Verona Memorial game. As soon as we were putting together the schedule, I was like, okay, we've got that game. We're doing that one. Really quickly, the girls' side of things.
Well, we'll touch on quickly in Badger Small. McFarland's got a big game coming up with Aquinas.
Yep.
That's huge for them. Right now, they're 7-1, Sauk Prairie 6-1. And Mount Horeb, since Josh Manchester's out, they're 5-0.
Wow.
Outstanding. I just pulled a couple of numbers. I talked to Rob Reichel, my editor, because I cover Mount Horeb for their paper occasionally. 5-0. Their defense has allowed 46 points a game in those 5 losses. They've only scored 57, so that pack line defense has been phenomenal. They held Stoughton the other night, 31% shooting, only 1 of 5 at the free throw line, 39 points in that game. And so Mount Horeb, we thought, okay, with Josh out, and he's supposed to be back within the next week.
Yeah, and that's big for them, because when you and I saw them at the 608 tournament, we just kept saying, like, they need a third player.
Yep.
They need somebody else. And that's
and
again,
now with Josh out, and arguably Todd Nessheim's one of the best coaches in the state.
Yep.
So, the defensively, they're bringing their A game to compensate for the fact that Josh is out and trying to find another score. But now you add 20 points to that 50-some they're averaging. I think things bode well for them down the stretch.
And then on the girls' side. Yep, real quickly, the Badger Large, it feels like it's kind of already wrapped up here. Unfortunately, if you're a Monona Grove or a Beaver Dam fan, with Waunakee, they're 15-2 on the year. They're 9-0 in conference play. That 2-game lead at this point in the season, barring something crazy happening here, we expect Waunakee to be able to just run away with the Badger Large. Kind of an expected thing. It's the same thing for the Badger Small. We just saw last night with Edgewood and Mount Horeb on the girls' side. And Edgewood, they're 9-0. They've got a 2-game lead on now Sauk Prairie being in second in the conference. I don't expect a big shakeup there unless there is everyone for Edgewood catches the flu for like 3 weeks. And then they just don't have anybody, and Stobbs has to pull up the JV squad.
If they get sick, Stobbs coming after you.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
You're looking at Mount Horeb was the second best team in that conference. Now they got 3 losses. They lost by 31-25 to Edgewood, and they hung with them for about a half. But last night, Edgewood 8 of 10 from 3-point range in the second half. Anna Miller with 1 point in the first half.
Yep.
And they're still up by almost double digits at halftime. So, I like that. And then Waunakee lost to Arrowhead last week by 18. Arguably the best team. And then Arrowhead got beat. So, but Waunakee's going to be right in that mix, I think. When it comes to the time for state.
And then wrapping up the girls' side of things, with the Big 8 conference. This is where the conference race gets really interesting as well on the girls' side. You've got at 11-2 Madison, La Follette, and Verona tied for first place in the conference. Then in third place by a half game is Memorial at 10-3, and then 9-3 is Janesville Craig. So a ton of basketball still to play. Really tight with those top 4 teams in the Big 8 conference.
Well, and Middleton knocked off a Memorial last night 60-58. So now all of a sudden they're kind of sneaking back there. But Memorial's lost to La Follette and Middleton over the last week to drop down to that 10-3. But again, we're going to see Verona next week, and another Strumlow.
Yes, yet another Stremlow for Verona. So if you're not a fan of Verona, there are still some more Stremlows there playing in basketball. As we'll be talking also to the head coach of the Verona Wildcats, Lexi Richardson, coming up in a little while on the program. But yeah, on Friday we will have the Memorial and Verona girls game next week.
Yeah.
Yep. Coming up for that one. So some great basketball coming up down the stretch, and all of these races for conference. Still plenty to happen here, as we've still just got a couple of weeks left of the regular season before we get into the postseason.
Yeah, now we're into that second round of when you've seen a team once, and usually the team that won doesn't have to make many changes, but that other team that lost, that's where you got to be careful, and where there's a lot of trap games coming up.
So that is our update on the conference standings. We're going to take a short break. When we return, we will go through our Pizza Hut Power Rankings, where we rank all of the area teams, and we'll break that down next on Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly on ESPN Madison.
You're listening to Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly, breaking down more from this week in area high school sports next on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
Heart disease is the leading cause of death for women, and the warning signs aren't always the same as for men. Join Stoughton Health Cardiology for a free online talk. Heart Health Matters for Women, Wednesday, February 4th, from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. Learn common risk factors, warning signs you shouldn't ignore, and practical steps you can take to protect your heart. Register at stoughtonhealth.com under classes and events.
After a serious crash with a semi-truck, everything can change instantly. Your future, your family's future, your quality of life. That's why knowledge and results matter in big truck cases. And not all law firms have the know-how or the resources to handle these complicated cases. At Gruberg Law Offices, we have the experience it takes to make sure you're protected. And there's never a fee until we win your case. Gruberg Law Offices. One call, that's all.
I worried that I couldn't work a full-time job and still have time for college. But I'm so glad I didn't let that stop me. At Madison College, I found my stride. My classes are flexible and hands-on, and I walk on campus feeling inspired. My advice to others? Make your dreams a reality. There's more to your story at Madison College.
Visit madisoncollege.edu to get started.
At Hooper Service, your comfort is important. From keeping you cozy warm to comfy cool with the ultra-quiet, energy-efficient Carrier Infinity Home Comfort System. Plus, join our Home Comfort Priority Plan and keep your air conditioner and furnace running at peak performance year after year. Enjoy priority service and extra savings that really add up. Hooper is here with 24-hour heating, cooling, plumbing, and fire protection service for your home and business. Turn to the experts, Carrier and Hooper.
Looking to take your baseball game to the next level? GRB Academy provides year-round training programs designed around your schedule and your goals. For over 15 years, GRB has been Wisconsin's leader in player development and advancement, with a state-of-the-art 52,000 square foot facility of elite baseball training space and coaches who know how to get results. From youth to high school, baseball players trust GRB to help them reach their next level. Training program spots are filling quickly, so don't wait. Register now at grbacademy.com.
Your Honda gets you everywhere. When it needs service, you need Zimbrick Honda service. Their customer service is second to none, and you can experience it for yourself at 2 convenient Madison service locations on Fish Hatchery Road and Grand Canyon Drive. From simple maintenance to expert repairs, Honda certified technicians handle it all. Need new tires? For a limited time at Zimbrick Honda, you can buy 3 tires and get the 4th for only $1. Part of the Madison community since 1973. Shop local. Shop Zimbrick Honda.
It's all about the green and gold and nonsense on Kyle, Brust, and Nortman.
What is the main ingredient to pesto?
Dude, man.
Wow, this is bad.
Pass.
What country is home to the city of Vienna?
Seriously?
Jeez.
Switzerland?
Kyle, Brust, and Nortman. Presented by Bud Light, the official beer of the NFL. Weekdays from 2 till 4 on 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
Happy New Year and happy new engagement. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. You have heard me talk about corporate, fundraising, and even casino events, but we are also amazing wedding DJs. Never cheesy and always the perfect fit for the perfect couple. Please let us help you narrate your wedding day love story while playing an amazing soundtrack that will rock your dance floor. Create lifelong memories of your one special day. Do it right and do it with celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
This is ESPN Wisconsin and ESPNWisconsin.com.
Continuing on, Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly. I'm Hunter Vaughn. With me, the Dean of Area High School Sports, Dennis Sumrow. As we were looking at the conference standings for some of the area standings, we're going to keep looking at the area teams, but now we will be looking at our Pizza Hut power rankings. Again, if you haven't tuned in before, what this will be is each week our team here at ESPN Madison, we all rank the teams from the Badger Large, Badger Small, the Big Eight, the Capital North, and Capital South into a power rankings. And this is just based on how we feel like at the end of the week each team is playing. So that's why we can have some different variation on this, or even if maybe sometimes some teams have won in head-to-head matchups, but we feel like somebody's won a few in a row and blown some teams out, we might put them up above somebody else. So we'll start with our boys Pizza Hut power rankings this week. And at number 10, it is the Sauk Prairie Eagles. And then at number 9 will be Madison La Follette. Number 8, Lakeside Lutheran. Number 7, the Waunakee Warriors. McFarland coming in at number 6. Then number 5 is Beaver Dam. Number 4, Verona. Number 3, Middleton. Number 2, the Lake Mills L-Cats. And number 1 is the Madison Memorial Spartans. Dennis, any thoughts on that? How does that vary from where you had some teams?
Oh, I ended up with Memorial number 1. I think they are the best team in the area. And Sauk is a team, again, that's one that I get to cover occasionally for the newspaper. I had them up 8 this week because, they swept the week. Nothing was unexpected, but you got to win the games you're supposed to win. Mm-hmm. And they won those pretty comfortably. Lakeside Lutheran, going to be pushing Lake Mills for the conference title. We already saw Lake Mills has first bragging rights there. But the team to keep an eye on, I still say, is McFarland. I had them at 5. They were 6th in our poll. And that whole junior class is just so outstanding.
Yep.
And they've got a chance to make a long run. They've got the size, they got the shooting, and they got the coaching.
Yeah, McFarland's going to be a really interesting team come this postseason.
And we also did mention the Mount Horeb. We talked about that earlier. That was the other team I had in my top 10. I actually had them at 7. They just missed. They ended up 11th with the votes. 6-2, 13-4, about 5-0 since Josh is out and waiting for Manchester to come back.
Yeah, they'll be a team that I expect to sneak back in there once he comes back. I think the voters, they had that loss. They wanted to just kind of see how things were going to shake out with Josh not being there. I had Memorial number 1. They've been up towards the top for me for the majority of the year. I'm curious because I get to see the number of votes, and I didn't look at this. For our producer, Owen Dimful, who did you have at number 1 for yours? Because somebody had Lake Mills at number 1, and I'm not sure who it was, so I'm going to kind of try and process of elimination a little bit.
It was not me who had Lake Mills number 1. I had Madison Memorial as my top spot for the boys' Pizza Hut Power Rankings.
Perfect. Okay. So that's interesting. I'm going to have to look back on that. I was a little interested to see that Lake Mills got a 1 spot. By the way, I dropped Middleton all the way down to number 6 in mine based off of that loss to Memorial. It's one thing, I think, if you like Verona, I didn't punish as much after they had an overtime loss to Middleton, but I think you lose by double digits when you're a top team in your conference. And that one I kind of punished them a little bit more on. So I was a little surprised that our voters still had Middleton as high as they did.
Yeah, I actually dropped them down to 4.
Okay.
So I had that few again from that. But I thought they were ahead of McFarland and Beaver Dam still, having seen all 3 of those teams.
These are the Pizza Hut Power Rankings. Again, our team does these every single week. And Pizza Hut's Big New Yorker pizza is just $10 for a limited time. An extra large pizza with 6 huge foldable slices and bold New York style flavor. Big size, big value, just $10. Order on the Pizza Hut app or at pizzahut.com. Pizza Hut, the official pizza of PrepMania. We move on to our girls' power rankings, and coming in at number 10 on the girls' side is Janesville Craig. Then Milton at number 9. Lakeside Lutheran also in our girls and our boys at number 8. Number 7 is Monona Grove. The Beaver Dam Golden Beavers at 6. The Verona Wildcats number 5. Then Madison Memorial number 4. Third in our Pizza Hut Power Rankings is Madison La Follette. Then Edgewood at number 2 and Waunakee at number 1. Dennis, does that match up pretty well with where you had some teams?
I have Edgewood number 1, and after seeing them again last night, and Waunakee at La Follette at number 2, and then Waunakee at number 3. Even though Tessa Bryan's having a hell of a year for Waunakee, and then I got Memorial at 4 and Verona at 5. So
okay,
but, pretty close to what it is there. Teams to keep an eye on. We've seen Monona Grove and Milton. But yeah, Edgewood right now, they start with a strong schedule, and they've got a couple more strong ones coming up on their schedule. I think was it Xavier? I'm not sure. Can't remember who
they've got Appleton Xavier coming up.
So that should be a good test for them. And then, we did talk about Waunakee. So if you can kind of flip those 2 teams between Waunakee and Edgewood, both 9-0 in their respective conferences. Edgewood 12-4 because they started out 1-3, and Waunakee at 15-2 right now.
Yeah, so on this side of things, we had 2 voters that gave a first-place vote to Madison Edgewood, Dennis being one of them. Do you want to guess who the other one was?
Jocko.
No, it was me.
Oh, okay.
You and I in lockstep on Edgewood. I think they're the best team in the area. Waunakee is great. Waunakee's still, I think, going to make a run up to Green Bay and be able to do that. They're going to have that big hurdle we expect in a sectional final against Arrowhead. So that one will be really tough, but I have Waunakee 2, and then I kept Beaver Dam at 3. I still really like that team. I've got La Follette 4, and then Memorial was my 5th.
I was talking to Jeff Gifford for Edgewood last night, the assistant coach, and made the comment that you realize if Edgewood gets to the finals this year, the girls could get bumped up to Division 1 for the following year.
Yep.
Meanwhile, enrollments dropped, the boys would be in 3.
Yep.
How'd you like that differential? Huh?
Yep, because of that performance factor, which is why we have it. And this is one of those things. I know Coach Stavs wouldn't shy away from it at all. Like, they're good enough to play with those teams. They are absolutely a good enough program to do it. So it's one of those where that won't phase that program at all, making that jump up if that ends up happening for them.
Unlike Pewaukee boys that had the great run, and then all of a sudden they're gone, and now they're up in a division without the talent to match.
Yeah, that's
the discrepancy.
Yep. That Pewaukee boys team, for those that maybe don't remember, that was the run when they had the Momchilovich brothers, as well as Nick Janowski now down at Nebraska. The Momchiloviches over at Iowa State. So they were just ridiculously good for a couple of years because of those guys, and then they got pushed up, and they'll go back down this next year, I believe it is. They'll finally go back down because of their performance factors after they lost the state championship in Division II to Wisconsin Lutheran now 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That was. So that is our Pizza Hut Power Rankings. Again, follow us on ESPN Madison social media accounts. We will release those every week. We'll have a new Pizza Hut Power Ranking coming out on Monday where we rank all of the area teams, and we just see where we think the best teams are in the Madison area. Again, those are just the Madison schools. That is the Big Eight, the Badger Large, the Badger Small, the Capital North, and the Capital South conferences. Coming up next after the break, we'll be joined by the head coach of the Verona Wildcats, Lexi Richardson, as her team's looking to try and win a conference title and make a deep run into the postseason, and that'll be a part of our Midwest Financial Group Coaches Profile. The lineup at Midwest Financial Group consists of coaches for your financial world, organizing the players on your personal team. Behind every great team is a great coach. Let the Midwest Financial Group be yours for your financial planning needs. Head to mfgteam.com to get started today. Advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network, a registered investment advisor. Lexi Richardson of the Verona Wildcats joins us next on Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly.
More of Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly coming up next on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
Pizza Hut's Big New Yorker Pizza is back. For just $10 for a limited time, get an extra large pizza with 6 huge slices so big you have to fold them. Load it up with your favorite toppings, like the classic and crispy pepperoni. It's the perfect way to feed the crew with giant slices and one legendary vibe. Big size, big value, just $10. Head to one of their locations. Order now on the Pizza Hut app or online at pizzahut.com. Pizza Hut, feed good times.
Everyone plays like a champion at TPC Wisconsin. Our friendly community shares one thing, a passion for world-class golf. Women, men, and youth golfers all love the course. The $25 million upgrade is impeccable, and the list of amenities is more than impressive. But belonging where the shared pursuit of excellence is a daily practice and not just a tagline? That might be the best part. Join today and pay no dues until April 1st. Discover belonging. TPCWisconsin.com.
The team at Midwest Financial Group are values-based financial specialists that offer full-service financial solutions. This local independent firm has been dedicated to helping people achieve their financial, tax, and insurance goals for over 30 years. Visit mfgteam.com to learn more about how they can help set up your future for financial success. Advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network, a registered investment advisor.
Since 1956, Holman Lindsay Paints has been making paint in Wisconsin for Wisconsin. Because of their commitment to making great paint for Wisconsinites, Holman Lindsay has grown over the years to 26 locations in this great state. Headquarters in Sun Prairie with a state-of-the-art facility, Holman Lindsay has the paint you need to make your job better. From do-it-yourself to professional, Holman Lindsay has paint for everyone. Visit one of their local locations today in Madison, Sun Prairie, Middleton, and Janesville.
Zimbrick Honda has been a proud part of the Madison community since 1973. They're your one-stop shop for over 250 new Hondas to choose from. Whether you're looking for a sedan, SUV, or truck, their selection of new vehicles is second to none. Stop in today at their location on Fish Hatchery Road and lease a 2025 Honda Accord Hybrid EXL sedan for as low as $359 per month. Or browse their vehicle selection online at ZimbrickHonda.com. That's ZimbrickHonda.com. Shop local, shop Zimbrick Honda.
Listen to Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin on 100.5 ESPN.
Building a program, even in the pros, days are over. It is a year-to-year. You better have your ducks in a row for this coming season. There is no longer, well, let's build up and give this guy 3 or 4 years, because if he's any good, he'll be gone.
Wilde and Tausch, weekdays 9 to noon on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Madison on YouTube.
4 years, it's enough time to earn a college degree, to serve a full term as a president, to raise a toddler into a kindergartner, to train for something big and become someone new.
Right now, Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin is offering 0% interest for 4 years, so you can invest in your home and use your hard-earned savings for life's biggest moments. offering Pella exclusive features like blinds between the glass and customizations to match every home style. We believe in providing our customers with the highest quality products and top-notch service at a price you can afford. Tested, safe, durable, and backed by a limited lifetime warranty, Pella's rated #1 for craftsmanship, innovation, and exceptional design.
So aim high and think long-term when setting your New Year's resolution. And imagine what you can accomplish in 4 years when you finance your home project with Pella Windows and Doors Wisconsin. Start your journey today at PellaWI.com.
Since 1956, Holman Lindsay Paints has been making paint in Wisconsin for Wisconsin. Because of their commitment to making great paint for Wisconsinites, Holman Lindsay has grown over the years to 26 locations in this great state. Headquarters in Sun Prairie with a state-of-the-art facility, Holman Lindsay has the paint you need to make your job better. From do-it-yourself to professional, Holman Lindsay has paint for everyone. Visit one of their local locations today in Madison, Sun Prairie, Middleton, and Janesville.
From the biggest plays on the court to the comments made in the locker room after. An in-depth recap of every Bucks game. In 6 minutes. No more? No less. Bucks in 6 on the Bucks Plus audio network. If you missed any of the game or just want to relive the biggest moments, Bucks in 6 provides game recaps. Hear the high-flying dunks from Giannis or the deep threes from Miles Turner. And catch the comments post-game about what happened on the court. Bucks in 6 on the Bucks Plus audio network. Find it now on bucks.com/plus or on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.
This is ESPN Wisconsin and ESPNWisconsin.com.
Continuing on, Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly. I'm Hunter Vaughn. With me, the Dean of Area High School Sports, Dennis Sumrow. As it's now time for our Midwest Financial Group Coaches Profile. Again, the lineup at Midwest Financial Group consists of coaches for your financial world, organizing the players on your personal team. Behind every great team is a great coach. Let the Midwest Financial Group be yours for your financial planning needs. Head to mfgteam.com to get started today. Advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network, a registered investment advisor. We're now joined by the head coach of the Verona Wildcats, Lexi Richardson. Lexi, thank you so much for taking the time and joining us tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So I wanted to start with this, something Dennis and I had talked about with your team was the fact that you had the program had a 64-game conference winning streak that you ended up snapping, and I'm sorry about that, but I was also wondering, was there a sense of relief that you didn't have that long streak going anymore and there wasn't that maybe voice of oh, how much longer is this going to go? Is this going to be the night that it finally ends?
It's one of those things that I didn't even really think about. I didn't know the number until people around me were telling it to me. I think that's a cool run, right? You want to win all the games. You want to continue to win. But I think this year specifically has been really great in our conference, that we have that better competition. Teams are, much more competitive out there. Given us a couple losses, we've seen different teams in the conference this year step up and beat people maybe others didn't think would. So I think, yes, it's awesome to win, but I think the best part is that just that competition level has been going up.
Well, your girls bounced back right away and beat La Follette. That's a big win. 8 straight wins. Then Janesville Craig got you. But that goes to show another one of those teams. And again, we've talked in the past, it's great to get wins, but when you're beating teams by 40, 50, 60 points, you don't learn anything, right? You need to get sort of punched in the mouth or hit that adversity and bounce back. And obviously, that La Follette game you did right away.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, right, you can talk about, most coaches will say you win or you learn more from your losses than you do from your wins. And I think that was a little bit of a reality check for us. I think because of that long game winning streak, we got a little bit too comfortable. And I think that just comes with the territory. But yeah, there are a lot of competitive teams in our conference right now. Obviously, Craig gave us a great one. They have a lot of talent coming up. Middleton got Memorial last night, which is another one thrown in there. Craig had beat La Follette earlier in the year. So, it's basketball especially is one of those sports that it's any given night, whoever's going to show up that night.
We're joined by the head coach of the Verona Wildcats, Lexi Richardson, here on Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly. Talking about your schedule, the Big 8, really good conference. It's a deep conference most years. And then you guys scheduled non-conference games with schools like Brookfield East. You've got Edgewood later on in the season. What's the thought process of also scheduling, along with what is a difficult conference schedule, these difficult non-conference teams too for you guys?
Yeah, I think those are really important to get you ready for playoffs. I think those offer a playoff atmosphere that's a little bit different than conference play. Yes, you'll see some conference teams in playoffs, but just the ability to sort of go in with a team that you don't know every girl on, you don't follow them each year or have played with them before, and really be able to find that great competition around the state, and really test us in ways that maybe you don't get in conference.
You look at your team coming in. They talked about Jersaw, who's going to be going to Northern Michigan. Rawoff, another player to play pretty well. And then there's another Stremlo. And it's kind of an afterthought here. Averaged, about 9 points last year? 49 last night, is that correct? And that's not just the girls' school record. That's even beats the boys, right? What you want to talk about her performance so far for you this year? Just a sophomore.
Yeah, she's a sophomore. She's really stepped up in that role for us. I think that's pretty obvious in terms of stats, but I think the biggest thing is just the leadership role that she's stepped into. She's the kid who has energy no matter what. She's going to be cheering on her teammates no matter what. Super supportive on and off the court. And that shows in her play. Last night she had 49, 22 rebounds and 10 steals. And a lot of that is her effort. Yes. Yeah. She had that triple-double last night. And, even with that, she's still looking to set her teammates up. She's still celebrating when her teammates are making those shots. She's celebrating when she's on the bench watching her teammates. And I think that's a really important piece of it. I think we've seen that with the other two Stremlo girls that have been through the program. I was actually just telling them I've never coached without a Stremlo on my team. And just sort of that energy that she brings. She gets, other people feeling energized, and then gets it done on the court.
Is this the last one? The last Stremlo?
It is, yes. Yep.
And Will's doing pretty well for the boys team.
Yeah.
He's having a breakout year too.
Yeah, absolutely.
See, it'll be fun in 2 years.
They have some competition going on.
The family.
It'll be really fun in 3 years then once she's gone, and then we talk to you again, and it'll be your first year without a Stremlo, and see if you've slipped up with anybody who maybe wears the same number and that because you're just so used to being like Stremlo. But for Macy, with her being a sophomore, and you mentioned her stepping into a leadership role, is that something that you had to talk to her about early in the year when you saw okay, she's going to be somebody we need to rely on, or did she just naturally just take that and knew what to do?
Yeah, she kind of just naturally took it. She had a really great volleyball season in the fall too, and I think that helped her sort of learn a little bit about herself and the leadership role she can take. We talk about it doesn't matter what year you are, what age you are, stepping into those roles, and leadership looks different for everyone. But I think she's done a really nice job sort of trying to figure out what her leadership looks like and how that's different from other people and the different things that she can bring. Like I said, on the court and off the court, she's getting it done, and she's someone, our team wants to be around. It's been really fun to see her step up into that role after last year when she was a little quieter, a little more reserved, and now it's, full Macy, and we love that.
Who are some other players for fans who maybe, as we're really getting close to the postseason, haven't maybe been fully tuned into Verona girls basketball, who are some other players that fans should be looking out for?
Yeah, I think definitely. As you mentioned, Allie Jersa, she's going to Northern Michigan. She's been a pretty consistent player for us the last couple years and is continuing to do so, is doing a nice job in her leadership role as well. I think Noelle Rawolf, who's a junior this year, has really stepped up this year too. I think she's averaging like 13 and like 6 rebounds, and then she's in that steals and assists columns too. I think she leads our team in steals and assists, and so she's a playmaker. She's looking up the floor. She has that really nice court vision, and is just a competitor. She's the kid who's going to dive on the floor, get her team going, that sort of thing. I think someone sort of new that people maybe haven't seen play a lot in previous years is Dylan Roddick. She's been playing really well for us, sort of stepping up into that role, being a little bit more aggressive offensively. Last year she was averaging less than 2 a game. I think this year she's up in that 8-9 range. And it's just sort of that consistent, level-headed person for us on the court. That's been really great to see her step into that role too.
We mentioned Macy with 49, Nia Riak at 50 in December. They're sophomores. You've got a lot of good players. You look at the Big Eight the next couple of years being one of the best conferences because of all those young players.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's exciting. I think it's drawing attention towards girls basketball, which is always great. Craig, Yana Leah Stevens is a sophomore over there too. And so that class, I think, is a really exciting class. They're, great athletes, great people, and are really bringing those eyes to girls basketball. And I think that's really fun.
We're joined by Lexi Richardson, the head coach of the Verona Wildcats. As your team, you're kind of winding down the end of the regular season. And with basketball, for those that don't know, everybody gets into the postseason. When do you start talking about like postseason basketball? Because obviously you've built this program has been built to a point where you're looking at sectional weekend, like making runs up to Green Bay. When do you start having those conversations about like, okay, we've got to be ready for the postseason here?
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that we really just try to have it as sort of a build up to. You never want to be playing your best basketball in December. Still in January, you still want to be, fine-tuning those things, starting to tweak the things that you're going to need, adding in stuff that you feel like is going to help you in that postseason. Personally, that's why I schedule a lot of our non-conference games in the second half of the season, so we can, get some work on some of that stuff, make sure we're really fine-tuning those things that we hang our hat on. And so I think it's always sort of a build-up to that postseason, always thinking ahead, but still taking it game by game, and just making sure, when that time does come, when we get seedings, when we're looking at all that, that we're ready to go, whatever that route may be.
It's your third year. The last 2 years, you cruised 18-0 in conference. Right now, it's 2 teams tied at 11-2, Memorial 10-3. You think coming down the stretch, you get that tournament feel before the tournament, how it's going to help you, that these are all very important games, and conference titles are still important, aren't they? They were when you were playing. They were when I was playing, but sometimes people think about the state tournament, whatever, forget about local bragging rights. So that's going to make that conference tournament maybe or title maybe even more important this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, looking ahead to the next few weeks, already sort of feeling that, right? That good anxiousness that's leading up to those games. I think it's very playoff-like, and I think that's going to help us with those games next week. I think that's going to help us with the playoffs. But yeah, I think just the more competition, the more aggressive we can sort of get in those games, really leads to that sort of postseason mindset.
Last question for you as we talk about those big games coming up. You've got the game against Memorial coming up next week, Friday. That's a game that we will be covering here on our Zimbrick Honda's presentation of PrepMania. What did your team learn from that earlier loss in the year to Memorial that you're going to be using? Obviously, I don't want to have you give away anything going into the game, but what did you guys learn about that loss?
You mean you don't want our game plan? I'm just kidding.
No.
We'll take it. I think, a big thing we took from that is making sure that we're trusting each other. I think that's been something we've been, continuing to work on the court, off the court. Last year we started doing a team overnight, and that's always a really great spot to just sort of get to know each other. And the more connection they can build off the court, the better it's going to be on the court. And so really trusting each other and trusting themselves with their abilities, not trying to do too much, not trying to do something that isn't something they practice every single day, but really locking into the things that they do well and making sure that's what they're bringing to the table.
Well, Lexi, thank you so much for the time. We really appreciate it, and good luck on the rest of your season.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys having me.
And we'll see you next week.
That too.
Can't wait.
Again, that was the head coach of the Verona Wildcats girls basketball team, Lexi Richardson. Dennis, this is going to be a great race down the stretch, with this Big 8 conference. And I know with, what Lexi said, like those conference titles, they still matter here. And I think that's a great stepping stone of like confidence for whoever wins it to be able to potentially then make that deep run going into the postseason.
Yeah, sometimes you get that last week or two. That's with buys too, that you kind of take your foot off the pedal a little bit and maybe ease back and then trying to get it back. But if you got to be playing for the title and then you go boom, you're not celebrating for 2 weeks. Hey, we won conference. It's like, all right, let's go to the playoffs. And everybody wants to get to the Rush Center. That's again for someone like Macy, who's a volleyball player. I mean, that was their goal in the fall. Now in the winter, it's the same goal for those girls because it's the same site.
Now, Dennis, because we had such a great time talking with Lexi Richardson, we're not going to have a final segment here, so we're going to be wrapping up the show now. Are there any games or anything that you're looking ahead to, maybe coming up this weekend for boys or girls basketball, that you're like, this is a game that people should be paying attention to?
Middleton's got Arrowhead coming up for the boys. That's a biggie.
Yeah, that'll be definitely a very interesting one that I'm looking at that it'd be interesting to find the score of and see what's going on with happening literally tonight. That'll be tipping off at 7:15. Madison La Follette at Verona for boys basketball. That's the one that on deck. I think that'll be a really interesting one. How does La Follette respond playing a team like that? La Follette's that kind of sneaky team that could really mess with things when it comes to the boys' Big 8 standings. So for our producer, Owen Dimple, I'm Hunter Vaughn, and for the Dean, Dennis Sumrow, thank you for tuning in to Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly. We'll be back next week with another power rankings and breaking down more of high school basketball in the area, as this has been Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly on ESPN Madison.
At Hooper Service, your comfort is important. From keeping you cozy warm to comfy cool with the ultra-quiet, energy-efficient Carrier Infinity Home Comfort System. Plus, join our Home Comfort Priority Plan and keep your air conditioner and furnace running at peak performance year after year. Enjoy priority service and extra savings that really add up. Hooper is here with 24-hour heating, cooling, plumbing, and fire protection service for your home and business. Turn to the experts, Carrier and Hooper.
Experience, knowledge, results. That's what really matters when you need help after a serious truck accident. You'll need a lawyer experienced in fighting and winning for people just like you. Gruber Law Offices has the resources, strong track record of success, and a team of experienced lawyers to take care of your needs. We've successfully helped people injured in big truck accidents for more than 35 years. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Looking to take your baseball game to the next level? GRB Academy provides year-round training programs designed around your schedule and your goals. For over